Reading Srimad Bhagavatam 438. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Varam Virnithvam Bhadram Vo Yuyam Me Nrupanandanaha Sauhardena Pratak Dharman Tuskoham Sauhardena Va Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Varam, benediction, Vrinidvam, us, Bhadram, good fortune, Vaha, of you, Yuyam, you, me, from me, Nirpanandanaha, the sons of the king, Sauhardena, by friendship, Apratak, non-different, Dharmaha, occupation, Tustaha, please, Aham, I, Sauhardena, by friendship, Vaha, of you. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear sons of the King, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationship among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction from me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear sons of the King, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationship among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship and I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Since the sons of King Prachine Bahaisad were all united in Krishna consciousness, the Lord was very pleased with them. Each and every one of the sons of King Prachina Bahaisad was an individual soul, but they were united in offering transcendental service to the Lord. The unity of the individual soul attempting to satisfy the Supreme Lord or rendering service to the Lord is real unity. In the material world, such unity is not possible. Even though people may officially unite, they all have different interests. In the United Nations, for instance, all the nations have their particular national ambition. Consequently, they cannot be united. This unity between the individual souls is so strong within this material world that even in a society of Krishna consciousness, members sometimes appear disunited due to their having different opinions and leaning towards material things. Actually, in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be two opinions. There is only one goal, to serve Krishna to one's best ability. If there is some disagreement over service, such disagreement is to be taken as spiritual. Those who are actually engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be disunited in any circumstance. This makes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very happy and willing to award all kinds of benediction to His devotees. As indicated in this verse, we can see that the Lord is immediately prepared to award all benediction to the sons of King Prachina Bahisat. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnanam Gnanasalakaya Chakshudhan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamam Dadati Swaparandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uddhapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Shavadutam Parajanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Ravana Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Pri Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuveva Cha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you again for coming online to this Bhagavatam class. So this is a very actually important point that the Lord is making and is analyzing, and he analyzed the character of the Pesetas. How many of them there? 10,000? 1,000? Huh? 10,000 Pesetas? So 10,000 of them working together without fighting. Huh? Huh? What? Was it?
I thought it's 10.
10 only. Only 10? Are you sure?
No, not 10. Right.
What? Prabhupada said 2 or 200. Yeah? You know that verse he said? 2 or 200. You know what is it? You can take out, anyone can help. You know where is that? 2 or 200, eh? So the point is here, you can see that how the Lord, particularly he marked that they were working cooperatively. And he was very pleased with that, you know. Huh? Only 10 Pesetas. Are you sure?
424 13.
Four, 24, 13. Hello?
They looked at us, they became 10,000 years ago.
Hare Krishna. They meditated for 10,000 years, not more than. Just see how they can have misleading facts. Huh? So it says here very clearly there are only 10 of them. No? They meditated for 10,000 years. Huh? Correct? So the point here, the very important, 10 of them, they were very united. And the Lord marked that. He was very pleased that they were working together cooperatively, you know. And he said, the reason why they were cooperatively working in a friendly relationship, because all of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. See the point? Another point. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction for me. So you see all this one. First, pleased with your friendly relationship among you. Engage in one occupation, devotional service. And I am very pleased with your mutual friendship and I wish you all good fortune. Yeah? So now we try to understand that this thing cannot happen in the three modes of material nature. So unless they are transcended the modes of material nature, this unity is not possible. It is not possible. So let me explain why it is not possible. You see here in the Bhagavad Gita, and maybe you already know, in this verse, Rajas tamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamaha sattvam rajas tata. Sometimes the mode of goodness become prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way there is always competition for supremacy. You understand this? In other words, the three modes of material nature are always competing with each other. You understand? So when you are in the mode of goodness, it's not necessarily you cannot be contaminated by mode of passion and ignorance. And when you get contaminated by either the mode of ignorance or the passion, this is all contamination. And the thinking goes likewise. There is what? Competition. So when you are in the goodness, then the passion want to take over. And when you are in ignorance, maybe the goodness wants to, so like this, there's always turmoil. So what is the solution? Now let us go and find out, if I do my devotional service, if it is contaminated with mode of passion, if it is contaminated with mode of ignorance, how does then the person thinks? So you can see here, if you perform devotional service contaminated in a mode of passion or ignorance, and accordingly you perform that kind of thinking. Start with 7 or 8. 7 or 8 starts with this. 8 or Lord Kapila replied, Lord Kapila, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, replied, O noble lady, there are multifarious paths of devotional service in terms of different qualities of the executor. To this point here, so if you do devotional service, if you do this devotional service, let's say here, Krishna is speaking further, Kapila, devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. In other words, if you do devotional service contaminated with the mode of ignorance, then these are the qualities you will exhibit. Envious, proud, violent, angry, and who is a separatist. Separatist means what? He always want to have his own camp. Want to have his? So this means, can there be unity? If you do devotional service in this contaminated manner, can you have unity? No. Yes, there's distrust, there's what? Always suspicion, yeah, and finding fault. Little bit, yeah, spark. Correct? See, I told you. See, you join the ISKM, you see, this is what will happen. They'll throw you out. Yes? You understand? The kind of mentality, trying to find faults. Now what happens if he is in the mode of passion? I recommend you to read the purport. The deities, the worship of deities in the temple by a separative with a motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. So the person who got this kind of consciousness is also a separatist. Even if you are in the mode of passion, you are also separatist. You understand? With a motive for material enjoyment, fame, opulence. You want to what? Pratishta, labha, puja. He wants all these things. Yes? You understand this point? So how can there be unity when a person is self-centered? This is the one symptom of one who is a neophyte. A neophyte is always what? Fighting. Correct? So we see the neophyte. What is that? 11:2 what? 11:2:57. In this verse, you see, this is the symptom of a neophyte. A devotee who faithfully engages in the worship of the deity in the temple but does not behave properly toward other devotees. People in general, people in general is called a prakrita bhakta, a materialistic devotee, and is considered to be the lowest. Okay? Considered to be in the lowest position. So materialistic devotee does not behave well with others. Always having what? Differences, problems. So, see how he thinks. I recommend you to read the purport because this purport is very important. Madhvacharya became a lot of, examples of this neophyte devotees. Madhvacharya states, Acharyam eva samstitam Vishnu gyantvan tat anyatra naiva janati ha puman. A Kanistha Adhikari has no idea that the Supreme Lord has power to exist outside a church or a temple. He thinks only God is what? Here only. Furthermore, being puffed up by his own ceremonial worship, Atmano Bhakti Darpataha, a Kanistha Adhikari cannot imagine that anyone is more pious or religious than him and is not even aware that other devotees are more advanced. Thus he cannot understand that the Madhyama Uttama standard of devotional service, and sometimes because of his false pride he criticized the more advanced devotees of the Lord. neglect them, or simply has no understanding of the exalted position as preachers, completely self-realized souls. Another symptom of a Kanistha Adhikari is that he is infatuated by material qualification of so-called great materialistic person. He follows what? Some mundane personalities. Having a bodily concept of life himself, is attracted by material opulence and thus minimize the position of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu. Such a Kanistha Adhikari therefore is disturbed if a second-class devotee criticizes the non-devotee of the Lord. There is another point here. When we preaching and we speak something about somebody, he takes it as an offense. Why you criticize him? Understand? Yeah? Especially when Prabhupada is criticizing, one guy you say, many people say this. Why your Swamiji? Your Swamiji always use the word rascal. Yes, have you heard that? As though he is not a rascal. Yeah? Understand? You see how Prabhupada is speaking very...
Once I told like this, I used the word Murdan and rascal. I was telling somebody, he said you should not speak like this. You should speak like the flute of Krishna, how sweetly it was coming. But he doesn't know Krishna himself used the word Murdan.
Krishna himself say Muda.
He said you must speak like the flute of Krishna, like very sweet. You should not talk like this.
You know Krishna's flute is very sweet. Krishna got something sour also, no? That is his Maya. His Maya is what? This is all, this is exact verse. Right? Oh, I get so much penalized. He always fry people out. As though this is what I do here. You come in, I fry you out. I have nothing here, only frying. We have a lot of frying business here. Can you imagine this? This is exactly what it is. Criticizing the devotees who are... We are criticizing the devotees who are preachers. Yes. They don't know how to do. And you know it better. When you are staying in the house. You are staying in your house and you know better. Correct? Yes or no? Exactly, this is the exact line you see here. Therefore, disturb if a second-class devotee criticize the non-devotee of the Lord. In the name of compassion or kindness, a Kanistha Adhikari approves of the non-devotional activities of such materialistic men. No, they are also good. No, this Baba, that Baba, all good, Babas are good. What? You understand? Yeah? They are preaching thing. No, we should be what? What is the word they use? Samatva. Everything we must see equal. Yeah? Exactly. Because the Kanistha Adhikari is ignorant of the higher realms of devotional service and the unlimited transcendental bliss of Krishna consciousness. He sees devotional service merely as the religious aspect of life, but thinks that life has many enjoyable and worthy non-devotional aspects. Another point here. He wants to enjoy in devotional service. Prabhu, little chocolate is alright, Prabhu. What's the problem? Why are you so strict? Why? Krishna say you chant, you go back to Godhead. No? What's the problem? See how they justify. You understand? You follow? And therefore he becomes angry when the second-class devotee who experience that Krishna is everything criticize the non-devotees. Madhvacharya said that such a person, because of his rudimental faith in Krishna, is considered a devotee, but is a bhakta, adama, a devotee on the lowest standard. Now one time we had a problem in our temple, we were chastising somebody because they were doing some crazy thing, they were crying in front of the deity and all kind of things. Then one smart aleck, devotee in the temple. No. You don't come to the temple for the devotee, you just come for the Lord. You understand? He thinks you know better than the devotees who are. Yeah? No, you don't worry about the temple. Yeah, useless. You just come no? And just see the Lord. Take darshan. Huh? What kind of preaching is that? You go to the temple for what? The Lord or the devotees? Huh? So this is the problem. There's a neophyte. I mean, today I don't know where the guy is. Neophytes. Yeah. So we should be very careful, especially when they are senior devotees doing their job, preaching, and they sometimes may not understand why they are doing this, but we cannot try to think that we know better. Try to think that what? No. I think he's always like that, always making problems. What? That's why I never bring anybody to this temple. It's statement. Understand? Don't think this is, I'm just saying, they say this. Why? Because they bring the temple, they don't know how to deal with them. No? As though you know better. And then you should build a temple. Correct? Why are you doing in the backyard? Why? Doing in some other guy's temple? Why you got no guts to open a temple? If you know so much, you should open a temple. Right? Why you don't want to do that? Because envious cannot perform. You understand? So if such materialistic devotees follow the rules and regulations of deity worship, they will gradually be elevated to a higher standard and eventually become pure devotees of the Lord. Unless they commit offense against other devotees, in which case their advancement will be checked. If they commit offenses to the preaching devotees, that's number one offense. What is that? To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives in propagating the holy name of the Lord is a offense. So you can chant for 300 million years. Nothing will work. The Prabhupada said. No. Preaching means to make what? Devotees. Correct? Devotees means what? To teach them how to surrender. Not that they come here and have a tea party. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. You can hear? You can fill it all up. What's the use of that? What's the use of having cow barn full of cows which give no milk? Any benefit? Useless. Prabhupada stressed the point. One devotee was telling Prabhupada, no, we just get them to come, and they just chant and take. Then Prabhupada said, your preaching is useless. Your preaching is useless. Preaching means you must make them take initiation, make them surrender. That's preaching. Simply having tea party, what's the use? What is the use? Wasting time. Prabhupada told this. Actually he told he told this Siddha Swami, Siddha Swarup Swami, this letter is there. So you see how Prabhupada is putting the point. So unless you advance, how you can make devotees? Unless you are practicing, how you can make devotees? You cannot. Right? Then criticize. Correct? This is the problem. Madhvacharya states that Tat Bhaktanam Upekshaha Kuru Vaishnav Api Dvesam is another important line. Those who neglect or show indifference to the devotees of the Lord are to be considered offenders in the lotus feet of Vishnu. Right? See this point? Similarly, because here the demigods, those who disrespect the demigods will become bereft of devotional service and be forced to rotate again in samsara, the cycle of the death. Puja deva tasada. The demigods are always to be offered respect. Since the devotees of the Supreme Personality Godhead, if someone is envious of demigod, he is sure to be considered envious of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Similarly, one who offers sincere respect to demigods considers to be respecting the will of the Supreme Lord. A Vaishnava does not foolishly think there are many gods. He knows that there is one Supreme Personality of Godhead, but as stated many times in the Srimad Bhagavatam, The Lord has a mission within the material world, which is to reform the conditioned living entities through the cruel laws of true nature. And the Lord's mission within this world, the demigods to be considered limbs of the Lord's body, as stated in this Bhagavad Gita, Kamistayata Harpipagyan, Prapajyanti Naya Devata, Tantra Niyama Astaya, Prakritya Niyata Swaya. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto the demigod and follow the particular rules and regulations to worship according to their own natures. Yeah. Srila Madhvacharya notes, Vishnu Upekshakam Sarve Vidvan Shanti Adhikam Sura Patati Avasyam surely Patati Avasyam is definitely correct. Tamasi Harina Taischa Patitaha. All the demigods are extremely inimical to one who does not respect Lord Vishnu. Is the point here? Demigods themselves don't like if you are inimical to. Such a person is pushed into the darkest region of the Lord, by the Lord as well as by the demigods. From this statement by Madhvacharya, the devotional sentiment of the demigods can be understood. It is stated in the supreme liberation achieved by Uttamadhikari, the most exalted devotee of the Lord. The devotee enjoys transcendental bliss in the direct association of the Supreme Lord and the demigod. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, since the Kanishta Adhikari who cannot properly respect other devotees will certainly fail to offer respect to ordinary living entities who are not even devotees. A Kanishta Adhikari is useless for practical preaching work unless he comes to the higher platform of understanding. Srila Jiva Goswami says, Yam cha sriddha na sastra artava dharana jata. Because of Kanishta Adhikari's faith is not actually based on the statements of Vedic literature, he cannot understand the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within everyone's heart. Therefore, he cannot actually manifest love of Godhead, nor can he understand the exact exalted position of the devotees of the Lord. See, Kanishta cannot understand the exalted position of the Lord, cannot understand the exalted position of the devotees. Krishna is so glorious that Krishna's intimate associate must also be glorious. But this is unknown to the Kanishta Adhikari. Similarly, the essential qualification of Vaishnava, which is to offer all respect to others, amanina madadena kirtaniya sadahari, is also conspicuous by its absence in a Kanishta Adhikari. If such a person, however, has faith in the Vedic literature and try to understand the statement of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, he will gradually be elevated to the second and first class stage of devotional service. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, a Kanishta Adhikari should very seriously engage in regulated worship of the deity. The deity is a particular incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna can present himself before the worshipper in 5 different manifestations, namely his original form is Krishna, Para, his controllable expansion, Vyuha, his pastime incarnation, Vaibhava, the super soul Antaryami, and the deity Archa. Within the deity form Archa is the super soul, who in turn is included within the Lord's pastime form. Vaibhava, the Supreme Lord's Vaibhava Prakash, is an emanation from the Chaturviha. This control expansion of the Lord is situated within the Supreme Truth, Vasudeva, who himself is situated within the Swayam Prakasha Tattva. The Swayam Prakasha consists of expansion, the ultimate Swayam Swarupa Tattva, the original form of Krishna within the Goloka Vrindavan spiritual sky. This hierarchy of the expansion of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world is realized even within the material world in terms of one eagerness to render service to the Lord. In the beginning, a beginner in the lowest stage of devotional service should try to dedicate all his activities to the satisfaction of the Lord and cultivate the worship of Krishna in the temple. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all the planetary expansion of the Supreme Lord mentioned above descend into this world and enter within the deity. to exhibit the function of the Super Soul by accompanying the daily life of the Vaishnava. Although the Vaibhava pastime expansion of the Lord incarnate at specific times, Ramadi Murteju Kala, Niyamena Tistan, the Super Soul and deity forms are constantly available for the spiritual advance of the devotees in this world. As one becomes to the Mahatma Adhikari platform, one able to understand the expansion of the Supreme Lord. Whereas the Kanistha Adhikari, entire knowledge of the Lord is limited to the deity. Nonetheless, Krishna is so kind to encourage even the lowest class of Vaishnavas. He condenses all his various forms into deity so that the worship of the deity, the Kanistha Adhikari devotee, worshipping all the forms of the Lord as a devotee makes advancement, he can understand his form as they appear in his own way, both within the world and in the spiritual world. As long as one remains on the third class platform, one has no transcendental appreciation of the blissful reality of the Supreme Lord's paraphernalia and entourage. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with King Rudra when the king, upon receiving outer cloth from the Lord, immediately installed it as a deity and began to worship it as good as the Lord himself. Lord Shiva himself has stated, Tasmat Parantaram Devi Tadiyanam Samacharam. Worship of the paraphernalia entourage or devotee of the Lord is even better than worship of the Lord, because the Lord is more pleased by worship of the devotee and entourage than by worship of himself personally. According to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the inability of the Kanistha Adhikari to appreciate the Lord's devotees, entourage and paraphernalia indicate that such a materialistic Vaishnava is still affected by speculative understanding of Mayavad, Karmavadis and Mayavadis, those who are dedicated to sense gratification and impersonal speculation about the absolute. Srila Prabhupada often say that only the impersonalists desire to see Krishna alone. We desire to see Krishna with his cow, his friend, his parents, his gopis, flute, jewelry, forest scenery and so on. Krishna is so gorgeous in the setting of Vrindavan. It is in the land of Vrindavan that Lord Krishna, surrounded by so many beautiful associates, manifests his exalted, incredible beauty. Similarly, the unique mercy of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of God, is exhibited in activities of his pure devotees who selflessly travel around the universe, distributing the dust particles from Krishna's lotus feet on the heads of conditioned souls. One who is uninterested in the Lord's paraphernalia, entourage and devotees has a stunted conception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This must be due to contamination from the impersonal and senses understanding of life. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said that after hundreds of lifetimes of faithfully worshipped the deity of the Lord Vasudeva with external paraphernalia, one realized the true nature of his transcendental name and mantras. Okay? And the bondage of one materialistic mentality slackens in this way as a Kanistha Adhikari gradually comes to perceive the mental activities of a devotee and tries seriously to advance to a higher stage, and materialistic conception will go away of their own accord. He then exhibits loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and make friendship with the devotees who are dearmost sons of the Lord, and by appreciating the universal quality of devotional service to Krishna, he becomes very much eager to engage other innocent people in the service of the Lord. Further, as he begins to make significant advancement, he becomes inimical to anything or anyone that hinders the progress of his devotional life, and thus he avoids atheistic people who cannot benefit by good association. In the name of Krishna consciousness, right, so you see how the point is stressed by Jiva Goswami, stressed by Madhvacharya, stressed by Bhakti Siddhanta. So a neophyte person, although he is practicing devotional service, but because he has got this contaminated thing, so unity becomes very difficult. That's why the word is added, separatists. When you say separatists, it is the opposite of unity. Correct? So to become united, you cannot remain in the third class platform. Not only that, You cannot remain, as I first started the class by saying that you cannot remain in the mode of material nature. So if you remain in the materialistic mode of nature, and if you also remain as a neophyte, then this unity is just a dream. It will never happen. It is explained here also, you see this point in the mode of material nature. So you see here, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Na Sochati Na Kanchati Samaha Sarva Bhutechu Mad Bhakti Labate Param. See this point here? Same thing that is spoken today in this verse. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realize the supreme Brahman and become fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. So it is a very important point. Unless one goes above the three modes of material nature, there is no question. If he goes above the modes of nature, he realizes that he is what? Not Jiva Bhuta. He is what? Brahma Bhuta, spirit soul. And then he never laments or desires anything. He is equiposed. And you see, is equally disposed to every living entity. All these points shows that unless one takes up devotional service, he cannot go above the three modes of nature. Yes, Mamcha Abhya Vicharena Bhakti Yogana Sama Saguna Samiti Taitan Brahma Bhujaya Kalpati. So this is from 1426. So he goes above the modes. Once he goes above the mode, yes, he becomes joyful, he becomes cooperative, he doesn't have any more desires. You see, all fits in. But if he does not take up the devotional process, then there's no question of him coming to this position. And actually, he cannot please the Lord. And neophyte cannot please the Lord. That's why it's advised to worship the Supreme Personality of God in the form of deity worship. The deity worship is very, very important. It's explained here. Especially for the householder devotees, the path of deity worship is strongly recommended. Sometimes the householders are called envious householders. Yes? Prabhupada tried like that, right? Why? Householders? Yes? So deity worship is strongly recommended. As far as possible, every householder, by the direction of the spiritual master, must install the deity of Vishnu form like Radha and Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, especially of any other form of the Lord, like Narasimha, Varaha, Gauranitai, Matsya, Kurma, Shalagram, Shila, and many other forms of Vishnu, like Trivikram, Kesava, Achyuta, Vasudeva, Narayana, and Damodar, as they are recommended in the Vaishnava Tantra, the Puranas. One should worship the deity with one's family, following the directions and regulations of Archana Vidhi. Any member of the family who is above 12 years of age should be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. Any 12 years old? Nobody? Huh? And all the members of the household should be engaged in daily service of the Lord, beginning from morning 4 a.m. till night 10 p.m. by performing Mangala Harati, Nirajana. What is it? Nirajana? Archana, Puja, Kirtan, Sringara, Bhoga, Vaikali, Sandhya Arati, Bhaka, Bhoga at night, Sayana Arati. Engagement in such worship of the deity under the direction of bona fide spiritual master will greatly help the household to purify their very existence and make rapid progress in spiritual knowledge. Simply theoretical book knowledge is not sufficient for a neophyte devotee. Book knowledge is theoretical, whereas archana worship is practical. Spiritual knowledge must be developed by a combination of theoretical and practical knowledge, and that is the guaranteed way of attainment of spiritual perfection. The training of devotional service for a neophyte devotee completely depends on the expert spiritual master who knows how to lead the disciple to make gradual progress in the path back home, back to Godhead. One should not become a pseudo-spiritual master as a matter of business to meet one's family expenditures. One must be an expert spiritual master to deliver the disciple from the clutches of impending death. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has defined the bona fide spiritual master, qualities of a spiritual master, as one of the verses in that description reads, Shri Vigrahana, Hardana Nityanana, Singharadana, Dhiramajana Lavo, Dutasya Bhaktam, Yuktasya Bhaktam Cha Niyunjotovi, Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. Shri Vigraha is the archer or suitable worshipful form of the Lord, and the disciple should be engaged in worshipping the deity regularly by Sringara, proper decoration and dressing, as also by Mandira, Marjana, the method of cleansing the temple. The spiritual master teaches the neophyte devotee all this kindly and personally to help in gradually realization of the tranquil name, quality, form, etc. of the Lord. Only intention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple accompanied by musical kirtan and spiritual instruction from scriptures, can save the common man from hellish cinema attraction, rubbish sex songs, broadcast everywhere by radios. If one is unable to maintain a temple at home, he should go to another temple where all the above performances are regularly executed. Visiting the temple of a devotee and looking at the profusely decorated form of the Lord, well dressed in a well-decorated, sanctified temple, naturally infuse the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. People should visit holy places like Vrindavan, Vaisai temples, and worship the deity specifically maintained. Formerly, all rich men like kings and rich merchants construct such temples under the direction of expert devotees of the Lord. Like the sixth Goswami, it is the duty of the common man to take advantage of these temples and festivals, observe in holy places of pilgrimage by following the footsteps of great devotees, Anubraja. One should not visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples with sightseeing in mind. But one must go to such temples and sanctified places immortalized by the transcendental path of the Lord, and be guided by a proper man who knows the signs. This is called Anubraja. Anu means to follow. It is therefore best to follow the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master, even in visiting temples and holy places of pilgrimage. One who does not move in this way, that way is as good as a standing tree condemned by the Lord not to move. The moving tendency of the human being is misused by visiting places for sightseeing. The best purpose of such travelling tendency should be fulfilled by visiting the holy places established by great acharyas and thereby not be misled by the atheistic propaganda of money-making men who have no knowledge of spiritual matters. This is a very important point. So if we stay all on the neophyte platform, then deity worship is very, very crucial. If we cannot do it at home, then as Prabhupada said, you come to the temple. So by doing this, one advances spiritually. Because otherwise, the conditioning of the material world is so bad, It's explained here in this verse. You can see how Kali Yuga, especially, Kali is called what? Iron age of what? What is Kali called? Iron age of what? Huh? called iron edge of coral, is it not? Huh? See, this is what actually is happening, you see. Because there's no spiritual guidance, this is what's happening, Kali Yuga. Even a man's brothers, wife, parents and friends united with him in love will immediately break off their affectional relationship and become enemies over a single coin. Understand? Here the Prasetas, they are united because Krishna is in the center. Correct? Here, materially speaking, what's going on? Yes, especially if the father passed away, there's big chaos. Immediately they open the will. What does he say? If somebody gets a little less, no, this will is false. Court case. Right? Isn't it? This is going on. Huh? For even a small amount of money, these relatives and friends become very agitated and their anger is inflamed. Acting as rivals, they quickly give up all sentiments of goodwill and will reject one at a moment's notice, even to the point of committing murder. Look at that. Yes. Yes. Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken millions of years ago, is the point. You see how dangerous this modes of material nature is. Especially money. Right? That's why when Parikshit Maharaj he chased away Kali, he said you go and stay anywhere you like. Wherever there's meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, correct? Then he said, no, but in your kingdom there's no such thing. So because he was containing that, kingdom was peaceful. So okay, then give me, I also need some, no, you go wherever there is, what? Gold. Because wherever there is gold, then all these things will happen. So our task is to perform devotional service. I show you two more verses before I wrap up. Actually here, there's another verse here, how the bad qualities, let me go to this thing. It says, I've shown you many times, but so here I see this is the thing, how the mode of passion, theft, violence, speaking lies, duplicity, lust, anger, perplexity, pride, quarreling, enmity, faithlessness, envy, and the dangers caused by women, gambling, intoxication are the 15 undesirable qualities that contaminate man because of greed for wealth. Although these qualities are undesirable, man falsely ascribes value to them. One desiring to achieve the real benefit of life should therefore remain aloof from undesirable material wealth. So this is the contamination. So when you get this money stuff, then there is no question of peace. There is no question of, you cannot, there will only be quarreling and fighting and quarreling and fighting. This is all it is. That's all. See, verse. When one's peaceful consciousness, strengthened by the mode of goodness, is fixed on the personality of Godhead, one achieves religiosity, knowledge, detachment and opulence. See? As you know also, I quoted that verse many times in the Bhagavad Gita. One who is not connected to Krishna consciousness can have neither a steady mind, correct? Or good intelligence, without which how can there be peace? Without peace how can there be any happiness? Correct? You see? So you see, when one's peaceful consciousness, strengthened by the mode of goodness, is fixed on the personality of Godhead, one achieves religiosity, knowledge, detachment, opulence. It comes. But if the mind is fixed on something else, that's why a devotee, his other name is what? Santa, correct? The devotee's name is what? So what does Santa means? One who is peaceful. Correct? You see, on the other hand, when one's consciousness, when consciousness is fixed on the material body, see that? Home and other similar objects of sense gratification, one spends one life chasing after material objects with the help of the senses. Consciousness, thus powerfully affected by the mode of passion, becomes dedicated to impermanent things, and in this way, irreligion, ignorance, attachment and wretchedness arise. See what happens if you go the other way? If you go this way, you're safe, but if you try to go the other way, all these bad qualities will manifest. And how you can be peaceful like this? How you can be peaceful? Can you be peaceful? No question. Quarreling, fighting, bickering, this is all will be happening. And you cannot please Krishna. You cannot. Krishna is not happy. In fact, there is one verse by Chanakya Pandit also. He said, when the husband and wife don't quarrel, then the goddess of fortune will stay in the house. You know that there's a verse like that. Huh? If the husband and wife don't quarrel, then Lakshmi will stay in the house. But if you want your Lakshmi to go, then please you know what to do. You see how quarreling, just talking about quarreling and fighting, yes? And Krishna is not happy. The temple also the same. We have to learn how to understand. They are correct. These qualities should not exist in the temple because we are serving the Lord. Yes? And if we are having this kind of separatist qualities, then we know we are not in a very good stage spiritually. And what will happen? Constantly problems. Fighting, non-stop, Yes? And the man can't do any preaching also. If you say something, he says something, he says something, he says something, then finish, collapse. The boat collapse. So try to understand. We definitely need to have an authority. As Prabhupada said, in our ISKCON now, it has gone to do what? So many camps, yes? In the book of Prabhupada said, if you have something in the service of Krishna, well, that's spiritual competition. But if you have this, this is, you see how things break up. very important verse. By the mercy, this is Madhya. What I'm doing. Some of the disciples strictly accepted the order of the Acharya and others deviated, independently concocting their own opinion under the spell of Devi Maya. Gopāl, this verse describes the beginning of a skill. When disciples do not stick to the principle of accepting the order of the spiritual master, immediately there are two opinions. Any opinion different from the opinion of the spiritual master is useless. One cannot infiltrate materially concocted ideas into spiritual advancement. That is deviation. There is no scope of adjusting spiritual advancement to material ideas. Okay? This is another reason why fighting. You understand? You see, the moment the Acharya leaves, then, you know the verse? You know that verse? When the Acharya leaves, 428, 54? 428, 48. This is another very important point to see why things break up. When an Acharya comes following the superior orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative, he established the principle of religion as enunciated in the Bhagavad Gita. Religion means by abounding the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Religious principles begin from the time one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the Acharya's duty to spread a bona fide religious system and induce everyone to bow down before the Supreme Lord. One executes religious principle by rendering devotional service, specifically the 9 items like hearing, chanting, remembering. Unfortunately, when the Acharya disappears, rogues and non-devotees take advantage and immediately begin to introduce unauthorized principles in the name of so-called swamis, yogis, philanthropists, welfare workers and so on. Actually, human life is meant for executing the order of the Supreme Lord as is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Man mana bhavamat varto, ma yaji mam namaskaro, mam evayasi yuktaivam atmana mat parayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances and worship me, be completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. The main business of the human society is to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times, to become his devotee, to worship the Supreme Lord and to bow down before him. The Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, established this principle. But when he disappears, things once again become disordered. The perfect disciples of the Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instruction of the spiritual master. At the present moment, practically the entire world is afraid of rogues and non-devotees. Therefore, this Krishna conscious movement is started to save the world from irreligious principles. Everyone should cooperate with this movement and in order to bring about actual peace and happiness in this world. See this point? So the devotees who are serious, they will take up the process to help establish the Acharya's order. And those who are rogues and thieves, non-devotees, they will introduce so many nonsense in them. That's why now ISKCON is in a what? Split. They are introducing new and new things. Right? Yes? What is the latest they have introduced? Business yoga.
They want to do like Patanjali brand, so they have to create all these things. Many business. So for that they introduce that visa because you buy the business yoga is there. They want to create a product like Patanjali product.
They want to patent that. They want to patent the name business yoga. Huh? Such nonsense. Krishna only spoke about 3 yoga. What he spoke? Karma, Jnana and Bhakti. So this guy is inventing something new. Right? Like here, right? Introducing all kind of crazy. I think they are also introducing woman gurus also. Yes? Introducing. And I saw recently a Takva war, one Swami was doing Takva war.
He's bent on making his disciples fall.
Huh?
He's bent on making his disciples fall.
Somebody must fall down in the Takva war. Unlimited concoction. Someone is playing table tennis.
How many people also?
Creating harmony, ping pong diplomacy.
How many of it has started? How many of it? How many of it?
This is another thing. How to speculate on Krishna consciousness. This is terminology. Prabhupada said women are less no, he couldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that. Prabhupada, they made, all this were made, by people who are, what is the word for those who are very macho, what is it? How you pronounce that? Narcissistic, is it?
Male chauvinist.
Male chauvinist. I think Prabhupada was so kind, he wouldn't have said that, So I think you should delete all these words. See how the whole thing, just like the Bible, there was one course on that. It says that if Jesus Christ, did he say this? No, he could not be. Jesus Christ is so kind. He will never say don't eat meat. See how they have a whole course on that. This verse, no. This, maybe, no, but you must add this also. See how they speculate, change the whole thing. And that's finished. And what is there? The whole thing is rotten. That's why Prabhupada was very careful that we should not at any time compromise. The one good advantage about us is that we have the original verses that you cannot change. You cannot put one extra word there, it will not work. Okay? That is our saving grace. 900, so how many verses? 700 verses on the Gita, 18,000 verses in the Bhagavatam, right? They are there and everyone can see. That's why another thing, you see, amazing that Prabhupada did. He's an Acharya. See what he did? He gave the verses, correct? He gave word for word, correct? And then he gave the translation. Why did you do that? You could just Sanskrit word and he can just give the translation, right? Why did he put the word for word inside? What is the need for that? Why? That no speculation can work. You follow? As a Prabhupada is, sent by Krishna, So he knows what you will do, what you will not do. So to safeguard. This is our saving grace. And so that we can maintain the purity. Alright, I think I've taken a lot of your time. Any more questions or comments on this?
So the third class devotee gets angry when a second class devotee criticizes the non-devotional practices. Krishna also said in the third chapter that don't disturb the non-devotees. Don't create disturbance in their minds. So it seems to be that the third class devotee is right in this way, rather than unnecessarily agitating them or...
So when he says that don't disturb them, and they are engaging in some activities, we don't try to say, okay, you don't do this, you try to come to the higher standard, That's what it meant. That not that if they allow the third class devotee to criticize the second class or the first class. That's not allowed.
No, what I am saying, this third class devotee does not, if the non-devotees are criticized by second class devotee, but the third class devotee says that is wrong, because Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that you should not disturb them, let them be what they are. So why the second class devotee is going and disturbing and criticizing our work? So It looks like third class devotee is following the Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, whereas second class devotee is not following those injunctions in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
So here, a second class devotee is Prabhupada explained in the purport that a second class devotee, he is in a higher position to understand the spiritual aspects, whereas a third class devotee is on the bodily concept. So because he is on the body concept, he does not understand the higher principles of action by the second class and the first class devotee. So when they are doing something higher, just like, give you an example, then Garuda, when he was eating that fish, Saubhari Muni criticized him. You understand? And that became an offense. Right? That's why, what is the verse? Kriya Mudra, what is that? Where is that verse? It says that you cannot judge the mind of a pure devotee. Why he is doing that? You cannot use your material understanding to. So he has the reason why he is doing it. Understand? And if you criticize, you will fall down. Right? Just like another example. Madhavendra Puri was crying in ecstasy. Oh, when can I see you, my Lord? And his disciple, what's his name? Ramachandra Puri, eating too much puris. He, what? Why are you crying? You should meditate on Brahman. Now is the time to think of Brahman. So you see, third class, trying to advise her. You cannot say that Ramachandra Puri is right. Is he right? So he cannot interfere in the realm of the first class and second class devotee. Although Krishna says we should not disturb the mind of the neophyte so as not to displace them. You see, like now someone comes here, you tell him, his first day is coming, correct? He may have some bad habits. You cannot immediately impose many things on him. We don't do that. We just encourage him to chant. Correct? That's why he said in that explanation of the third verse, you should try to encourage him to work in the spirit of devotion. So if he comes, say, no, it's all right. You please chant Hare Krishna. You please chant Hare Krishna. No, I'm eating meat. No, that's all right. You carry on. No, but if the first day you say, no, you don't come to the temple. You're eating meat. No, you don't come here. Then what you will get? A temple of what? You will get nobody here. Yes? Or sometimes the neophyte, you want to show off that he is so pure. Right? You eating meat. You stand that side. You don't come near me. You understand? What caste you are from? Oh, you lower caste. No, I cannot talk to you. My father said we cannot mix with low class people. Right? You understand? There's so many, especially the born Brahmins, they have noted that is why the whole country is in a mess. I remember I went to this mart. They made me eat in this corner, one corner, and they are eating in the other corner. I say, why? Why this disparity? And I am waking up at 4. Of course I wake up early. And I am chanting. All these guys, they wake up, the first thing they do is drink coffee. And maybe Krishna is arranging me not to mix with them. One time that we were going in one Brahmin's car to Tirupati, we were going, and suddenly the car, old car, ambassador, ambassador, the engine is very small. I'm not criticizing, I'm just telling you the facts. So when you go to Tirupati, it's a slope, and an old car, you will stop for sure. In a car is stalling, and he's asking her, what class are you all from? We're carrying low class people like us, that's why his car stopped. Look at this guy. This is how I think. You understand? This is nonsense. And then when he serves you, he won't give you he drops it in your hand like this. Something wrong. You understand? So these are all methods in which you FRY, you fry people out. You follow? But an intelligent devotee like Sri Prabhupada, he went to the West. What he did? He stayed in the Agrawal house, and inside the fridge was what? Huh? He could have said, hey, you Agrawal, throw all this out. I'm here, pure devotee, what do you think? He tolerated. They were meat inside, so many things inside. He kept his sabji there. Huh? Prabhupada, preaching, how he did. And first time, toilet, he has to go and use one toilet. He also stand in line. Would you do that? Huh? You understand? See how tolerating. No, they are nearby, they don't know. We should encourage them. Yeah, that's preaching what? A person who is pure, he knows how to adjust. A person who is neophyte, he only will scream and fight, that's all it does. But that is the inevitable, what we say, character of a person who is not knowing how to help others become Krishna conscious. So we should be very, cautious on this point. Not that the neophyte is following and the first and second class are, out of context. It's not the way. It's not what it meant.
And that 2 or 200, that one is explained by...
It's explaining to Yamuna Devi, I think. You can put it up there. I have to come on. Never mind, you read.
Actually, it is from, it is in a conversation somewhere, but I found it in one of the tributes to Prabhupada, homage.
You can read.
Prabhupada said to Yamuna Devi, you Westerners are so restless, he admonished. Why can't you remain in the same place? Stay where you are. We questioned Srila Prabhupada that they are saying that if we aren't in ISKCOM, we lose your blessings and cannot make advancement. Prabhupada replied, ISKCON is where you are chanting the holy name, that is ISKCON. We rejoined. They are saying we don't have any association here and are therefore in Maya. He replied, association can be 2 or 200. If you are 2 and compatible, you can become perfect in Krishna consciousness. If you are 200 and are not, then no one will make advancement.
Same point. So the thing is to be compatible. Of course, this is a big, in my Krishna conscious career, it's kind of challenging thing because to get people to cooperatively work, it's not easy. It's not always, there's so many, because you're lucky we had temples, you didn't like here, okay, you go there, you don't like there, you go, you know what I mean? So that's there. But what happens, you have no temple, then that is a challenge, correct? And you have to go out and do on your own. That's why at one point Prabhupada said, that verse that if you cannot stay in ISKCON, what is that? 19152 or something, right? He said that if you cannot, then you work with me, Prabhupada said, following the 4 rules and all that, Right? Yes. Because why? To accommodate all this kind of people who are hard-headed. It's very difficult. People are, Prabhupada is preaching and is bringing people from all kinds of, character and all these things. So to adjust with them is challenging. Very, I know for myself. As people I never seen in my life, I have to stay with them, work with them. It's not easy. But Prabhupada, just because of Prabhupada, we all worked cooperatively. So the uniting point was Prabhupada. The same way now, see, all of you are here. Why are you here? Because of only one reason, Prabhupada. If it's not Prabhupada, then why? Nobody want to work, no? So that uniting factor is surrendering. Just like here in this verse, that they all work together because of one point. What was that? Devotional service. That is with Krishna, everything can be, just like spiritual world, there's no problem there. There's no fighting in the spiritual world. But the material world is so fighting everywhere, but everyone is fighting. Especially Kali Yuga, more so. See how the whole context is very much messed up. So the solution is that we should become Krishna conscious. Solution is to be chant Krishna's name. So, keep Krishna in the center and the spiritual master. Then we will have no problems. We are willing to practice devotional service in that manner, then we can overcome all obstacles. But if we don't want to do this, then that's going to be a problem. That means there's only one way. Either you cooperate or you have your own camp. That's what happens. There's no other choice. Alright. Anybody asking anything inside? So how do you like the new screen? Did you fall asleep?
I think you should ask a question. How do we deal with the full-time devotee who is in that neophyte stage but just doesn't wish to be helped or neither puts any effort to uplift himself or herself?
I cannot do it.
How do we deal with the full-time devotee who is in that neophyte stage but just doesn't wish to be helped or neither puts any effort to uplift himself or herself?
So how to deal with somebody who is just neophyte level? If someone is ignorant and addicted to the path of samsara, how can one who is actually learned and masterful and advanced in spiritual knowledge engage in, I think, 15, huh? 16 or 15? 15. 1-5.
I think function up to
Function. All this. So this is how we deal with them, people who are not willing to change, then this is the only way to do. If one is serious about going back home, back to Godhead, he must consider the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead the summum bonum and chief aim of life. If he is a father instructing his sons, a spiritual master instructing disciple, a king or a king instructing citizen, he must instruct them as I have advised. Without being angry, he should continue giving instruction, even if his disciple, son or citizen is sometimes unable to follow his order. Ignorant people who are engaged in pious and impious activities should be engaged in devotional service by all means. They should always avoid fruitive activity. If one puts into bondage of karmic activity his disciple, son or citizen who is bereft of transcendental vision, how will one profit? It is like leading a blind man to a dark well and causing him to fall in it. This is the answer I can say. You have to be patient. Especially like children, no? They go crazy actually, these children. Huh? What to do? You're going to beat the hell out of it. They have no brains. So tolerate until they, what? Grow up. That's what you do. That does not mean that we let them do anything and everything also. Huh? That's also there. You don't let the child do anything and run on the street. Yeah? Can. Just like this, you see this one? This is a classic example. See? Okay, that answered his question. Alright, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to everyone, all glories. Thank you very much.